Heading to the crack house. Heading to the crack house. Heading to the crack house.
Welcome to Minisode 43. I am your host, Fritz, joined as always by co-host Mandaddy.
Hi.
Nick Spry.
Hello.
Kaz.
Howdy.
And Angela.
Hello.
So this is cool. Columbia and Yale scientists have found the spiritual part of your brains.
What?
Pretty cool, right?
What does that mean?
Well, I'll tell you. They have studied in the past Buddhist monks, Catholic nuns, people who are from the cloth, as one would say, I guess, because I recently looked up what that meant and I didn't know.
That's Catholic.
Yeah.
Yep, a man of the cloth, and all of these people who were studied back in the day, decades ago, with PET scans and ET scans or PT scans, PET scans. What are the other ones?
CAT scans.
CAT
scans.
MRIs.
Yep.
MRIs suck.
CT scans.
The sound of an MRI will, the first time you have one, that'll stick with you, is that weird ass sound.
Yeah, and they all make noises like Mandaddy when he's trying to find his place. They're like...
No, MRIs are like, goom, goom, do, 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 do. It sounds like construction is happening right at you.
Actually, that would be a great beat.
Do you have to drink liquids for all of them? Something?
No, you don't.
Yeah, not for MRIs, because MRIs are magnetic.
Awesome. Columbia and Yale University, they have looked at past studies with people from the cloth, people who already have, let's say, an organized religion. This was the first study where they took many people from different ethnic backgrounds, including atheists. They connected them to these machines and they said, think of an experience in your life in which you found utter happiness. So maybe, you know, for instance, me, call my crows, my little crow babies show up. They're eating them peanuts. That to me is God. Like this other animal on earth that understands I'm not going to fuck with it. They are there to feed from me and get on with their life.
People out there that don't know, you're going to be really freaked out by that statement. What is he talking about with his crow babies? All of us and your friends are like, oh yeah, but people that don't know, he's like, what's he fucking talking about?
Just a bunch of Brandon Lees.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a little bunch of mini Brandon Lees.
Just like tiny ones like that thing.
Let me just not clarify that statement and just move forward.
Right.
Because
don't explain it.
These scientists have found a, quote, neurobiological home for spirituality. This is from QZ.com. When we feel a sense of connection with something greater than the self, whether transcendence involves communion with God, nature, or humanity, a certain part of the brain appears to activate.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
This subtitle, by the way, is Columbia and Yale scientists found the spiritual part of your brains, religion not required.
Okay.
Because basically in all of these studies, they have found the exact same area of the brain starts to lighten up, regardless of Catholicism, Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, does not matter.
Well, Satanists, do they check Satanists?
Yes.
What about atheism?
Yes.
So my question is, in regards to this, does that have to do with most neuroscientists or, you know, people who study the brain say that the human brain has sort of a natural filter on it to filter out stimulus or information, awareness of, because the human brain just can't simply process all of the information that the universe provides. So, when you feel like you're in touch with, say, the universe, or if you experiment, say, with hallucinogens, that it expands, it opens that filter. Is that in the same region where this brain is? Is that the sort of the filter on the brain? Is that loosening that? Is that what's being stimulated here?
This all appears to activate the parietal lobe, which is, I'm assuming, okay, so this is temporal, this is frontal, I think maybe up top. But what's amazing about it is that the thing that makes a person feel connected to something greater, this is what's being activated in the parietal cortex, involves church, trees, or a stadium full of sports fans.
Oh my God, that totally makes so much sense, though.
Right.
It does.
Well, yeah.
It does.
There's a feeling of connection you get with people when you're in a stadium.
So the effect on the brain is distinct from the effect of other forms of relaxation or meditation. We observed in the spiritual condition, as compared with the neutral relaxing condition, reduced activity in the left inferior parietal lobe, a result that suggests the inferior parietal lobe may contribute importantly to perceptual processing and self-other, that's hyphenated, self-other representations during spiritual experiences. Literally, the brain computes outside of the body.
That's really cool.
That's cool as shit.
Yeah.
It's interesting that the concept of like a god or that like an altruistic good is also connected to the idea of being able to empathize and see like the other as an entity in separation from yourself. So
You're
it's
absolutely correct.
like a weird, like, I don't know.
Well,
I don't
I
wanna
mean,
get too hippie with it, but it's interesting.
Most world religions have that kind of servitude aspect to their daily practices. You know, the
Helping other people, getting like, seeing other people as like
Sermon on the Mount and Christianity. That's the only one.
Oh yeah,
That's the one.
And there it is.
Nailed it.
That's the only one I know, and I don't know anything about religion.
God, there you go. God exists.
Yeah.
For Fritz.
And there is there is a portion of the brain specifically designed to pick up on that, but it activates when you think of outside of yourself.
Now,
Interesting.
I would ask, do other primates have the same part of the brain?
that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do chimpanzees, bonobos, other?
It'd be hard to. How do you ask a chimpanzee? Okay, think about your happiest moment.
They asked Coco. Was it Coco?
Coco.
They asked Coco about like, what do you think about like the disappearing rainforest and shit? And she like had
Sad.
an answer.
Right.
It was like sad. Like, why are you guys doing this? This is terrible.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
we
for
need
sure.
the rainforest.
So there you go. Columbia and Yale, they've figured out that there is a part in the parietal lobe that responds to stimulus outside of our physical being.
That's super cool.
I wonder if that's connected to the pineal gland in any weird ways. Everybody talks about that being the third eye and calcifying your
So
pineal
what
gland.
they're saying, I actually heard an interesting theory that they were in regards to a story that we've covered before, DMT.
Yeah.
That
Kansas story?
I was discussing with another individual that scientists now believe that upon death, that the brain, the pineal gland, produces DMT,
Correct.
and then upon death, it releases all of it.
Correct.
Yes.
And so that
Just
might
clogs
be
you, just
what people are
That's the,
perceiving
like,
as
end
heaven.
life
That is
thing,
the end
yeah.
of life, and it seems to last in eternity, even though it is perhaps about 10 minutes of brain activity, and it's just your brain being absolutely flooded with DMT.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
I
You get
guess
to
so.
go on
Sounds
one
great.
final super trip before
Yeah.
before the lights out. That's awesome.
Well, Nick Spry, the spooky word of the week. What do you got for us?
So this week's spooky word, expanding the lexicon, is the word depravity.
I don't know what that means.
Depravity.
That means you're poor.
Maybe poor of moral conscience, perhaps. Yes.
Right back at you, buddy.
Segues.
I don't know what that means.
So
Master.
in Christian theology, it is defined as the innate corruption of human nature due to original sin. Otherwise, it is defined as moral corruption or wickedness. There are several other definitions of this word. It is perhaps defined as corrupt, to be led astray, and that is from its original terms in this sense of the word. Yes, Fritz.
What is the original sin?
The original sin is
Ooh, here you
defined
go.
as the eating of the fruit off the tree of knowledge in
Wasn't
the
it
Garden of Eden.
Wow,
the
that far
Eve
back?
tempting him to eat it, or was it the eating?
I think it's the actual eating
Okay.
because
Yeah.
it's like one of those things. Like if you think about committing a murder, but you don't actually do it, you didn't really do anything wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, I hope
Yeah.
so.
That's going to be a whole other minisode dedicated just to that, Mandaddy. So the rise of this word in the late 14th century from Old French depraver means to corrupt, lead astray, or pervert. And the original roots of this word come from Latin, Old Latin, the root being pravus, Pravus, and that just means crooked.
Provis?
Oh.
My line is a little rough. Pravus?
Pravus.
Is it PRA?
P-R-A.
Oh, okay.
V-U-S. Pravus. So this then leads to Latin the word depravare, which is to distort, to defigure. So you're thinking then in a sort of they add on the ity ending, which is again a Latin, and that just refers to a state or a condition of being composed of this
To have
crooked
been made
nature.
crooked.
To have to have been made crooked. And this eventually leads into what we know in English as depravity in the mid 17th century. It basically means just a morally corrupt person. And I feel
A real
like
bastard.
a real no, because a bastard would
Curmudgeon.
just be somebody without a father. If you're going word wise here,
Classic.
classy. But
you can't be depraved and a bastard, though.
You
can
can.
be both.
You
You
can
can
be
be
both.
both.
You
You
can
can
be
be
both.
both. Not. It's one of those things like not all bastards are depraved, but all depraved people are bastards.
it's
something
like
like that.
squares and rectangles.
But bastards don't have fathers, right? Or is that like an outdated definition?
No,
Like,
That's the definition. You know.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like in old kung fu films, it's like that's the worst thing you can call
You
somebody.
bastard.
You
Oh.
bastard! Oh.
And then when you watch like 2007's The Room,
Mhm.
when he calls everyone chicken,
Yeah,
they fly off in a
Right.
fiery rage.
right. Or Inglorious Bastards.
Best
I don't really get that one either.
No.
But that's this week's spooky word, the word depravity.
all right.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Yeah, depraved
Thanks,
of
thanks,
moral
Brian.
conditioning.
Very cool.
Without moral conscience.
Oh,
Hmm.
it's rough,
Crooked
Crooked.
thoughts.
Right to the bone.
rough as hell.
Like scoliosis.
So we would like to start a new segment right here on the Fritz Minisode. Our entertainment reporter, Kaz, is going to give us a rundown of the headlines
Got a
for this
couple
week.
rapid fire horror
Ooh.
movie headlines for you here.
Let's hear it.
Jared Leto getting his own Joker film. Nah.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah,
Fuck it.
yeah.
Well, I mean, didn't
Not
he
into it.
record... I thought
Pass.
he recorded 45 minutes worth of like Joker footage from the last film, right?
It's just that. They're just going to do that. Like,
It's
on,
Like Suicide Squad. It's a
Raw,
45
just-
minute.
just him like fucking up like,
theatrical
okay, hang on, wait. Let me get back into character. This is all boring. There's going to be a Doom movie. Doom based on the video game.
There was a
There was-
Doom movie.
yeah.
There's going to
with
be
The
another
Rock.
one.
Yeah, with The Rock.
Yeah.
Which
It had like 5
The game
minutes that was really worth
was
it, where
the
they
fucking
actually
movie
went
would be,
first person. It
Wait,
looked
wait.
like Doom.
Is it gonna be a Doom video game movie, or is it gonna be a Doctor Doom movie? Because that would be badass.
So we talked about that. Actually, did we talk about that? I read the fucking. This could be its own minisode. I read like what happens after the Marvel Infinity thing.
Yeah.
Like, what it goes into.
Mhm.
Phase 4,
And
I
it
mean,
is
3 or 4.
Like if they actually do what this dude wrote, it is the coolest shit I have ever heard of in my entire life. It is
Like what?
psychedelic, weird. Like remember we were talking about Mastaba Snoopy?
Yeah.
The weird, like just fucking like LSD Charlie Brown shit. It's basically that. It's like a world mashed up of all the Marvel stuff in this like dystopian universe where like Doctor Doom rules everything. And like the police force is like a group of Thors that all like there's like 40 Thors from all the different universes and they're
That's
the
cool.
police force.
Beta Ray Bill.
And like
Authority.
the authority.
Right.
I know nothing about comics.
So it's cool. It's just a weird, it's a
Sorry.
weird like
sorry.
mishmash of all these worlds and kind of like made it its own unique thing and didn't try to kind of cater to, you know, like normal comic book tropes. It's a very like out there, cool, very Discworld. I felt like when I was, yeah, it's like Discworld meets Marvel.
What
I would be
Now, is this
Discworld?
just fan theory?
No, this is like what the guy who wrote the Marvel like Infinity Wars plotline wrote the next thing, which is called Secret Wars. And
Right,
then
right.
Wait, they're doing Secret Wars?
The Secret Wars was
well,
like
from
the
what I
early
understand-
80s. In the
No, I know the
comics.
Secret Wars.
Yeah,
I know it
Secret-
very well. That's
and-
what I was wondering.
and-
They're doing that?
So yeah, and then after that it's Battle World.
Okay.
Which Battle World is like
Mojo.
Secret Wars is what happens in the interim, and then Battle World is like the ultimate kind of what happens, and then you know I don't know. It's strange. It's very cool. Like,
Okay, you guys just lost me. Can someone just quickly sum up Secret Wars or whatever the
So
hell
it's like
that
the
was?
Marvel universes are all doing this thing where like the Spider-Man movie and then like the Doctor Strange movie and the Thor movie, they all like come together in this like one big plot line.
That's going
Okay.
on with right now with the Infinity
Correct.
War movies. That's
Yes.
happening right now.
and so
Okay.
something happens.
Something bad.
I didn't.
You don't have
Come
to-
on,
something
everybody knows.
happens.
Come on.
that. I just asked the question.
Something
Something
happened-
bad.
If it was good,
Thank
nobody would
you,
make a movie about
Angela.
it.
Right.
Just bad.
Something
That's
happens,
true.
and
That's true.
and
That's
then
right.
there's this kind of apparently, and again from what I was reading, like this collusion of the worlds that ends up being
No
something
collusion.
that's like completely different than the than what we have now. Which and it's very like I said, it's very Discworld, very like otherworldly. Doesn't really have any connection. It's not like doesn't take place in New York or Metropolis or whatever. It's very like alien and strange and cool. It sounded cool. So if they end up doing that, that sounds very cool. I would be into that.
Yeah.
Noah Schnapp teases a very different third season of Stranger Things. So apparently the third season of Stranger Things
Sweet.
coming out.
Oh,
Well,
interesting.
It has to be different because they were sued.
What?
On intellectual
I didn't hear about that. What
property.
happened?
Oh, yeah.
They
like,
were, but then I think they were
I thought-
able to
I
prove.
thought I got thrown out.
Yeah,
Because
that,
there's so many what they're basing it on with their it's like a local legend about a facility
Oh,
or
gotcha.
in Montauk.
Montauk,
Yeah.
yeah. and that there's been so many. It's been such an urban legend for so long, and other people have written about it before. That it's just. I think it got thrown out. I think. I think
it was kind of. Like you were saying, thrown out. Like they were at something, and that person tried to sue them for that, and they ended up being able to get out of it.
I wrote a book about Jack the Ripper too. What the heck? You know?
Yeah.
Linda Hamilton is filming a new sequel to Terminator.
Ooh,
good for her.
Right?
I love
Genesis
her.
didn't
Love
go.
Linda Hamilton.
Under the direction
Badass.
of the Deadpool director, Tim Miller.
Nice.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh, okay.
Could be interesting.
Promising.
Piece of trivia: who's her stunt double?
Her sister?
Her identical twin sister.
Get out.
Yeah,
I
and
did
so
not know that.
when you
That
see,
is amazing.
it's her identical twin sister.
Shit, that's fantastic.
So they have a spare. It's awesome.
The Graninator?
Oh, come on.
What? She's a woman of a certain age.
Yeah, he didn't say anything.
That's a great name for a band.
The woman of a
All right,
certain
this has
age.
got to be the cap. This is the capper for me.
Okay.
And we've talked about this before, and I love this show, and the first season was amazing, even though it was a little wonky, but it was like better than most stuff out there. American Gods. Season 1, check it out. The book, if you're not going to watch the show, read the book, listen to the audiobook. Neil Gaiman, it was amazing. It's very snarky, very English, and very funny and witty, and also very like, I don't know, it's good.
Noir. It's like noir, too.
Yes, exactly. Like
Was that Amazon?
No,
Prime?
it's Stars, of all things.
Was it
Right,
Stars?
this is Stars, correct.
Oh, okay.
So they are coming back. Season 2
Nice.
will arrive in 2019. However, the original showrunners, Brian Fuller and Michael Green, are out.
So that's going to be coming out soon.
2019.
2019.
But I would
Nice.
say go back, watch the first season. It's really good.
Okay.
It definitely goes in a place that you don't expect it to go, especially if you don't know anything about the story, and I highly recommend it.
Awesome. Angela, what do you have for us this week?
I went to Megacon here in Orlando.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you did.
Ooh.
So for those of you who don't know Megacon, it used to be more like comic book convention types of things, but now it's very like all pop culture goes.
Like everything movies.
Everything
TVs.
movies,
With like
TV.
a nerd tinge, right?
With
like
a little bit of a
sci-fi,
nerd leading.
fantasy.
Exactly. It is an insane event. I mean, you are literally in the Orange County Convention Center here in Orlando, just packed full of people
Nice.
in that concourse.
I've seen pictures. It looks like a madhouse. It looks like a zoo.
It is. I mean, people are dressed up. People are not dressed up. Everything goes in terms of like sci-fi, comic book, pop culture, everything. I went Saturday and Sunday here. And Saturday, I got to take a picture with Jeff Goldblum.
Nice.
And then
Post it.
Sunday, I had a picture with Jason Momoa from Game of Thrones /
Drogo?
Aquaman.
Damn.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He is huge.
He is enormous.
He is huge.
Both of them are actually very tall people. It was very intimidating walking up to them. You literally pay like $100 just to stand there for half a second
$100.
and stand with them and then walk away. You don't even get to talk to them.
What a gig.
I know.
What a freaking gig.
Yeah.
And people are just cycling through, taking pictures with them, and they just stand there.
Cha-ching, cha-ching,
Cha-ching.
cha-ching.
I wonder if it
Cha-ching,
was
cha-ching.
as lucrative right before selfie culture. Like if
They-
once the like selfie took off, then all of a sudden like the prices just skyrocketed for
probably.
being able to take a picture with
Yeah.
so.
For every $100 spent, they get 4. It's like
Some
everywhere.
Not a
manager
great-
just
not a great
peeling them
racket.
off.
It's crazy. And apparently Jeff Goldblum doesn't really do that many cons, so it was pretty great that he actually did Megacon. So, and he only did one day of it. So we went, took that like half a second picture with him, my friend and I. He like squatted down, like hugged us. You can see in the picture, he's like literally gripping my shoulder.
Angela texted all of us too, and she's like, "I'm about to meet Jeff Goldblum." I was
It
like,
was-
"Oh my god!"
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty great.
Yeah.
It wasn't terrible. And then meeting
Nice.
Jason Momoa the next day, like, you know, he's Hawaiian. So I walked up and I was like, mahalo. And he was like, mahalo.
Oh, nice.
And he like totally mahaloed me back. And I was like, Momoa mahaloed me back.
You got a Momoa.
I did. Momoa mahalo. It was awesome.
Oh, that's hard
Do they
to
like
say.
prep
Say
you
that 5 times.
beforehand and
Yeah,
like
but
tell
well,
you
here's
like
the cool
don't
thing.
talk?
So Jason Momoa was supposed to be there that Saturday as well. So my friend and I were just going to do Saturday, Jeff Goldblum and Jason Momoa. Then Momoa could only do that Sunday. So then MegaCon got us to get us freaking tickets for Sunday too. That's how they get you. So when we walked up to take pictures with Jason, they were like, well, he injured his foot doing something yesterday, so just be careful of his right foot. So it's like
He was
you had
trying
walk
to
up
fry an
there.
egg, and
Yeah.
he's never done that before. And
And
Stepped
so
on a Foreman grill.
we were
That's
very
exactly what I was
careful of
gonna
his
say.
right foot being almost injured, blah, blah, blah. But then we it's so stupid. Then we paid extra for the freaking autograph because you can't do the autograph with the picture. That's a whole separate thing.
Yeah.
They fucking get you.
Yeah, they will. And they did.
These
Yeah.
con artists. But
He's Megacon.
Megacon.
Megacon artists, which I thought that was kind of my joke the whole week. I was like, Megacon artists,
We're
you
getting
know.
Megaconned.
So then we do the whole autograph thing, and you have to pay another. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about how much everything costs,
Wow.
but so we're standing in line, and again, it's a very quick thing. You're going through, he's signing things for you, and this girl in front of us was like, "Can I please get a hug?" And it was like, "Bitch, no one's doing that. You're just signing." And he's like, "Oh, all right," and leans over the counter and gives her a hug. And then my friend and I come up, and we don't ask, but he was like, "Fuck it, let's give hugs." And he stands up and starts giving us hugs. We're like, "Yes, just give me a hug."
It was,
It was
you
freaking
get the
awesome.
good hug.
Yeah.
It was-
now you didn't have to ask for
Despite
it.
that girl in front of you hug.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She had to
totally.
ask for
The
it.
better hug.
Yeah, exactly.
The mahalo at your boy.
Yeah. I wanted
That's not
to
the
talk
point.
to him so bad about Hawaii because my cousins live there, but I couldn't do it. So
They're
was
like,
great, though.
Big Island or Oahu? What do you think?
that's what I was going to ask him because I didn't know which island he lived on. My cousins live on Oahu. So yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, it was great though. Megacon is fantastic, and we really need to do Tampa Bay Comic Con.
Oh, yes.
Fritz has got to.
I would love it.
Get press
were
passes or
were the local vendor people in with everyone else? Was it integrated, or were you off to the if you were a local person, you're off to the side, and then Jason Momoa is giving hugs over there in the cool
So
place?
they kind of have it set up that all the artists and everybody's all in booths in one area, and then the celebrity meetups are in a section. I mean, it's all open.
Okay.
It's very, very open, all in one big, huge room.
Was the artist area getting traffic too? Everyone
Oh,
was
absolutely. Actually, I would do a little shout out to Jasmine Beckett Griffiths. She does these amazing. She's from Claremont, and she does these really, really cool, dark, cutesy, the girls with kind of the bigger heads with the big eyes.
Yeah,
Anime
caricatures
style?
kind of.
Yes, caricatures, and some of them are really cute, but some of them have a really dark background going on, but their faces are really cute. And she was there, and she had sessions where people could buy her art, and she would be autographing everything. So I got a couple pieces from her, and she was
Beautiful.
really, really cool. So
Yeah,
she's from
nice.
Claremont. She is awesome. She also has stuff at Disney Springs here in Orlando. At Disney Springs, sometimes she'll have little signings for her stuff at the marketplace there, and her stuff's really cool and kind of gothic and interesting. And she's adorable. She's never wearing shoes. She's always sitting there barefoot.
part of her appeal.
Yeah, and-
Ridden with ringworm.
no. She'll take her time talking with people. If you go up and have your stuff signed that you bought from her, she'll it's not a quick sign. She'll have a conversation with you. She's a really cool person.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
What was her name again?
Jasmine Beckett Griffith.
Awesome.
Yeah. She's from Claremont, Florida. It was really cool, and I really think that Fort Fritz should have some kind of
Hell yeah.
presence at Tampa Bay Comic Con, which is the first weekend of August, I think.
And
So-
Spooky Empire too. I think Spooky
There's a
Empire
lot
is
of-
right
yes.
up our
All
alley.
of that stuff.
Shout out to Pete. I'll try to get in contact with Pete.
Shout out
See.
Pete. What's up, Pete?
And people are really receptive. I think if we had a booth at Megacon, people would have come up and talked to us. I
Cool.
mean, people love meeting people and experiencing what's around here.
So what do you guys do?
We talk.
We talk.
Cool. Anything I can listen to? No.
No.
Not right now. Check us in 2 months or whatever.
Yeah. We're not working right now.
Is that Jason Momoa?
No.
Anyway,
That was awesome.
I've also been watching Handmaid's Tale and Westworld,
Yes.
which
Ooh.
I can't mention anything that's going on with those.
See,
because
I've only seen the
they're
first
so good.
episode of season 2, and just it hasn't been
For Handmaid's Tale or Westworld.
Westworld, and it has been
It was
yelling
good.
at me to watch.
Keep watching. Keep
No,
watching.
keep watching.
Okay, it does. Okay,
Again, I don't want to talk about it because you cannot say anything without ruining everything.
I thought the same thing at first because they
Bup,
sort
bup,
of changed thematically and what's going on, and but just keep watching.
all
Are
right.
you all caught up?
I am.
Oh, it's so
It's so
good.
good.
It's so good.
Okay.
And then The Handmaid's Tale is just a phenomenal
Hilarious.
show. Quote unquote hilarious,
Laugh riot.
meaning
Goofy.
it's not hilarious.
Hijinks ensue.
Sitcom Central.
It's great. So what you got for us, Mandaddy?
Well, first of all, speaking of shows, Legion is just so
Not
outside.
watched that yet. Damn.
That show is so outside. It's just
don't.
Yeah, there's nothing. Once again,
I'm telling you, I'm on episode 1,
it's
and
just,
I want you to.
It's so wonderfully abstract. It's just wonderfully abstract.
That was the one thing, like not knowing anything about it, didn't even know it was a comic book thing, any of that stuff. Watched the first episode, and I was just like, this needs more attention. Like I was kind of watching it over my shoulder, like working and doing shit or whatever, and I was just like, what amazing, weird, like cinematography is happening right now.
It's original in every sense of the word.
It's so beautiful and like strange. It's like out there.
Yeah, and definitely want to check that out. I finished Lost in Space.
Oh my
and
God!
I enjoyed
great,
that.
great
And
first season.
Watching that and watching things like Jessica Jones, it realizes. Well, I think we talked about the difference between shows back in the day that you'd watch once a week versus binging shows.
Yeah,
and a show can be written differently when it's being binged, because an episode you're going to need some slow episodes. But normally, if you're only watching once a week, when you see a slow episode, you get mad.
Right.
You're like, I wasted that for this week. But when you're binging a show, because sometimes a slow episode is good,
break.
like helps you digest what's going on and then get back into it.
Well, I also think with shows that are producing week by week for release, they don't exactly know what's going to happen as they're writing it. But with something that's released all at once, they have to have a definite arc ahead of time.
True.
So they have
to see the whole thing together.
It's a more direct or a more
sense.
comprehensive artistic vision.
Right. And it's just because we've been watching Jessica Jones, and I wish we could have just binged it over a weekend or something like that, because there are some episodes that are just kind of clunkers.
Yep, I agree.
And some really superfluous stuff. So kind of getting over that. This weekend participated in an event because some of you might know I'm in a band, and Mr. Fritz over here, he's in a bunch of bands.
No.
He's in like 15 bands.
I'm in 5.
And all of our bands played this weekend at Hurricane Party.
Nice.
The Hurricane Party, the 12th annual Hurricane Party out at the West End. And that's just always a fun event. And it was great.
So what does this Hurricane Party seek to usher in every year?
The hurricane season. It's the beginning of the hurricane season.
The coronation of
so it's kind of ballsy. Like
right.
It's kind of like, come on, we're ready for you, when we're totally not ready for you.
Because I think we played like the last 25. I had no idea.
There's only been 12. It's amazing. You showed up for like 13 years and just played in the middle of the street. And people like must have gotten really mad at
just
you.
Just outside, kind of like humming to himself. He's like, "Yep, I got another one on the belt. 3rd annual.
See you guys next year. Good one. Good
just
one.
like a hurricane, I show
smoking
up.
out in the.
I'm not invited. I play for way too long, and then I try to just cold lamp the entire area, make sure no one else has power.
We do have a very brazen attitude towards hurricanes initially, and then once it hits, everybody's like, "Jesus Christ, I'm not built for this shit." Like, never mind, it's not fucking. I'm not
totally
a Florida savage.
Quintessential Florida people.
Right.
I don't
exactly.
mind. I don't mind being shower. And
you weren't in the
work.
experience that Kaz had. Kaz had a bit of a different hurricane
I
experience.
went insane.
It was like
You
kind of.
did a little bit.
I imagine you were like Kurtz from Apocalypse
Heart of
Now,
Darkness, yeah.
Heart of Darkness. Just you got red paint on your face all alone, just with crayons.
Wait, how long did everyone go without power?
I think 9 days for us. I mean, we had water though, so we were
had
taking
water
showers.
too, but
I
I
think
think
we
we were
had
like 8 or 9 days
I was
without
11.
power.
Mine was like 2.
Like Spry, I mean, that's a royalty treatment though.
Well, I do. I at the time I was living downtown near hospitals. So
Sure.
it was
Yeah,
one of
you're on the
first-
grid.
Right.
See, yes, because my dad in South Florida was on the hospital grid. He got power back immediately.
We were literally, I could walk to City Hall. So we were on the grid where all of these things needed power immediately in order to function. So,
well, that's great.
Bougie ass.
He just happened to pick the right place.
It's bougie.
And so, got another probable hoax. I just like finding these stupid little people saying they had a supernatural event happen. And so Deborah, I'll just say go with Deborah so I don't murder her last name. Lived in Birmingham last week. She's a mom, but both of her kids, like one kid was at her dad's, the other one is at camp or some shit. And she goes to sleep. Really, really invested in this story if you can't tell. She goes to sleep, puts her smartphone under her pillow. Best place to keep it.
Why would
And
you do that?
Just so you get all the radiation while you sleep. You
Yeah,
might
I
miss
guess
some of the radiation
you
during
really
the day.
want brain cancer in like
Yeah.
5
I'll
years.
just hold it.
No, allow me. There are some sleep apps where you can download and then
It'll
put them
vibrate your
on,
pillow.
and then you put them either under your mattress or under your pillow, and it'll tell you how long you actually slept.
or
And
if
how
you're
long you'll get cancer.
or if you're a
Yeah.
princess,
Yes,
like Princess in the
yes,
P,
yes.
but it's Princess in the iPhone, and you just under the mattress.
Princess in the P app to see how sensitive
Are you a royal?
God damn, that's brilliant.
Got royal blood in you.
I don't like any of these
$1 million
ideas.
idea.
I don't like any of them.
They're all bad.
I get 2%. Any kind of royalty you
You
guys
send
make.
it on my mics.
I'm saying right now.
2%.
This is your incubator now. You're like Erlich Bachman.
What would you do? What would you do in this situation?
Exactly what you just did.
Thank you.
Siphon off the money.
But so she went to sleep with her cell phone under her pillow, baking her brain slowly. And like I said, she was home alone all night. She woke up the next morning, was looking through her phone, and this picture was on her scroll. And it's a picture of her asleep.
Whoa.
And she said her phone was back where it was. So she woke up and someone was in her place.
Like how far away from
It looks
her?
like from the foot of the bed. Though.
Right. Could it have been like a
Weird.
Creepy.
like a
Oh, I was
sleepwalking
in-
It looks
I'll pull
like
it up again
it looks
here.
like it could be.
like a
It doesn't
sleepwalk
look
selfie?
fully from the end of the bed. It looks like mid bed.
Like she took the photo. It looks like she's holding the phone with her
Yeah.
feet.
It looks like she's awake.
Could
too.
be
And it
feet.
also looks like she's awake.
I know. That's the thing. It's like with her eyes half open, I'm like, those are almost totally
Nobody
open.
sleeps
There's
like that.
selfies and there's
No.
One of my
footsies.
cats does, and it's kind of
Yeah.
creepy when a cat goes to sleep with her eyes like half open and looking at
Yeah,
you.
they'll look
That
at
disturbed the
with that
fuck out of me
weird
the
like
first time I saw
third
that.
eyelid that's like kind
Her
of.
eyes are totally
Right.
open, and no one goes to bed at that 45-degree angle with your head. I'm just saying right
I don't
now.
know. It
Deborah.
shifted.
God.
Deborah.
Try harder.
Deborah.
So it's a
liar.
Also, come on, you have pink walls and a leopard skin like blanket.
How hard? Yeah, exactly.
And you're a mom.
Ugh, how
Okay.
gross.
That was a
Come
very
on.
come hither look in her picture too.
Yeah, let's shame her.
We should, and we have,
No.
but we won't continue.
No,
that
no.
was the proper amount of shame right
just
there.
a little
That was
bit.
a joke.
Sprinkle.
That
Just
was,
a
spoonful.
smidge of shame.
Shame
What's the joke?
sprinkle.
But so that's what I've got going on. Anyone else got to add anything? You? Everybody had a good week? Everything for that?
although I think that some kind of entities, if inclined, can influence our technology. I think that's a hoax. So I'm just going to go out on
Agreed.
that limb and say that now.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, it doesn't.
On
it's not
both
too,
accounts.
Yeah, I much prefer the story where the woman had the picture of the doll, where the doll took the photo. I mean, at like 2:00 in the morning while she was asleep. That I like. That's nice and creepy.
Yeah,
This
any
one's
day
just
of the
too
week,
easy.
I will take that. Yeah, this
creepy
one's
doll
like,
over this.
It's like, come on.
And we have the technology now. At least try a little bit with your weird ass selfie hoax. Like you can get them to take them remotely or set up a timer or whatever.
timer?
Yeah, like
Exactly.
pretend like you're asleep at least, Deborah. Come on, like private message me and we'll go over like
Get some drool
How to
on the
hoax
pillow.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
go for realism, man. You know, don't say
Take off
try
your
harder.
makeup.
that well,
Was it a nap or was she going to sleep?
Going to sleep.
Who sleeps with the lights
Wait,
on?
the lights were
Lights
on.
are on.
Makeup was on.
Uh-huh.
What a
Bullshit.
Oh, I
bitch.
know. There's so much about it that's just so horrible. That's why I wanted to bring it. I was like, there's just no way. How did this get on? It's from the Mirror. What do you expect?
the mirror. Well, the mirror usually has really funny, like just like waste your time articles.
And that's what I just did.
That one's that one's wacky.
well, thank you.
All right, well,
you're
thank you very
welcome.
much. That was Minisode 43. Mandaddy, where can people further their Fort Fritz experience?
You can go to Libsyn. You can go to YouTube. You can go to iHeartRadio. And that one you get to hear that everything bleeped out, so it gets kind of funny in a weird way. 'Cause you
I
wonder
kind of
exactly
think
what
it's
we're saying.
I don't know if it's funnier or if it's equally as funny. At
It's
least.
got its own thing going on.
I had someone Saturday come up and say, so is there any way I can listen to the uncensored version? And I go, the uncensored version is pretty much everything but iHeart. And they go, no shit.
They said no
we're,
beep.
we're pretty much everywhere, including iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
iTunes. You can see us on, find
And
us
then
on
just
Facebook.
Message us,
Message us.
Yeah.
and we'll
Just
send you some.
seriously,
give us
reach
a
out
call.
to us. Yeah.
Actually, there is a Fort Fritz in the phone number. What's the Fort Fritz phone number? I can't remember that.
It's 570-478-3789. That's 570-4RT-FRTZ.
Wow, I could never remember that. But yeah, check us out on those. We're on the Twitter with Fort Fritz MCT. And message us. We're on Instagram. Send us pictures. We'll send you pictures occasionally. Not enough. We need to get on that more.
Yeah.
But please check out the main episodes where we get into all the fun and everything and the stories and the piano trills that intro into the stuff that I think some people probably still get confused what the piano trill means. But you'll find out if you listen to the entire episodes. So that's us. We're Fort Fritz. You're you. Go out and listen to more of us.